Let's check in with Jamil Jaffer. He is the executive director and founder at the National Security Institute, former associate White House counsel to President George W. Bush. You just heard Jackie say, Jamil, that the U.S. and Israel are said to be in lockstep on this conflict with Iran. And yet it wasn't that long ago that President Biden was saying that Israel should, back off its attacks in Gaza, which are in response to an Iranian-led, slaughter of Israelis on October 7th. Can they be in lockstep, I guess, is my question.
Well, one can only hope that when an ally like Israel is being attacked directly by an adversary like Iran, that the United States and our allied governments are in lockstep. We should have been in lockstep this entire way. The idea that we've seen the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer calling for the departure of the Israeli prime minister in the course of a war with a terrorist group in Gaza, Hamas, backed by Iran, is obviously, crazy on its own. And now that there's a direct attack by Iran, the first ever of its kind against Israel, it's good that we're in lockstep. It's good that we're in lockstep on the defense of Israel. The question now comes, if Israel chooses to respond, and if Israeli civilians die and Israel chooses to respond, will the United States and will the White House remain behind Israel if, in fact, that's what it comes to? And if it goes further and becomes a war between Israel and Iran, where will the United States be? Will we actively defend our allies in the region? And will we go on a war footing if need be as well? This administration has not shown that kind of stamina or wherewithal. We'll see if they have it here now.
The Israelis and the Jordanians have a reasonably close relationship in the Middle East. Jordan, we have heard, has closed its airspace. Does that mean if Israeli jets were to overfly Jordan, how would Jordan respond to that, do you think? Or do you know?
It's a good question. It's not clear why they've closed their airspace. One could read the closing of the airspace as protecting civilian aircraft against these Iranian drones that are likely to come across both Jordan and Iraq. It may also actually be an opening for Israeli fighter jets to come across into Jordanian airspace in order to have a clear space to go after these drones. We don't know for sure what it means. We'll see over the next hours what happens and whether, in fact, Israeli jets are able to go into Jordanian airspace and go after these drones before they reach Israel proper.
We know that General Zayedi was the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. He was killed, along with a bunch of other top Iranian military leaders, in that strike on the so-called Iranian consulate in Syria. First of all, describe that consulate for us. And secondly, the U.S. is said to be upset that we were not alerted to that strike. Should we have been?
Well, I don't think so. I'm not sure we gave anybody a heads up when we were taking Qasem Soleimani out there. We certainly did give the Iraqis a heads up, and we took him out in Baghdad on the runway there. And we were afraid that, of course, they would let the Iranians know and he would escape. So we didn't give anybody a heads up. It's no surprise the Israelis didn't give anybody a heads up either. This guy, Mohammad Reza, was a commander of the Lebanon Corps of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Quds Force. He had been in that job. This is his second time in that job. He first got appointed to that job back in the late 90s. So he's been the guy operating attacks against Iran, against allied forces in the region from Lebanon for a long time. It's no surprise, being the commander of the Lebanon force, that he was there as well in Syria, in Damascus. And to your point, to your question about this consulate, let's be honest about what these Iranian consulates are around the globe. Even though they're denominated as diplomatic facilities, what they are, as you said earlier, are military hubs. And in the case of Syria and Lebanon, that's exactly what they are. They're essentially Iranian forces there guiding the proxy forces that are attacking, like Hezbollah, that are attacking Israel directly. So this idea somehow that this was an innocent facility, a diplomatic attack, that we were killing diplomats, that is completely false. We go after military targets. We, the Israelis, I should say, we're going after military targets. This is a legitimate thing, given that Iran has been attacking Israel through its proxies for a long, long time, including, as recently in the last weeks and months, with the Hamas attack and the attacks from Hezbollah.
Jamil Jaffer, the head of the National Security Institute. Jamil, thank you.